No matter what happens, we're about to see some history. It's June 4th, 2000, and we're in Los Angeles for Game 7 of the NBA Western Conference Finals between the Lakers and the Portland Trail Blazers. The Blazers are down 4 with under a minute left. They desperately need a stop to preserve their chance of completing one of the most impressive series comebacks ever. Kobe Bryant has the ball, and if he finds the Lakers a basket, he can help secure the win and complete one of the most impressive fourth quarter comebacks ever. This moment will help decide which rally falls short and which will make history. Before we see it, let's remember how those dueling comebacks happened, the characters involved, and the critical moments that might get forgotten behind this critical endgame. Let's rewind. There are some familiar faces out here, guys who've already been part of this rivalry, like the All-Stars on the floor. For the Lakers, that's Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant, two guys who joined forces in '96, helped eliminate the Blazers from the playoffs in '97 and '98, and reached new heights to make this league-best Lakers season happen. Kobe had a breakthrough year, earning his second All-Star berth. He's emerged as a genuine co-leader of this squad and really stepped it up in LA's back-and-forth first-round defeat of the Sacramento Kings. But Shaq is still the main event, and his stats this year were obscene. He won unanimous MVP, almost unanimous. Then he kept it going with some monumental games in LA's second-round victory over the Phoenix Suns. The Blazers, meanwhile, traded leading scorer Isaiah Rider in the offseason, but held on to young Rasheed Wallace, tall, loud, versatile, and a first-time All-Star in 2000. Sheed leads a more diffuse but extremely powerful offense. And Portland is still helmed by Mike Dunleavy, last season's Coach of the Year. Familiar faces on both sides. So what's different? What changed to help these two teams, both of whom got smoked by the Spurs in last season's playoffs, become the best of the West? They each added some useful veterans with deep playoff experience. And by trading Rider, the Blazers got a reliable second scorer in Steve Smith. Smith was instrumental in Portland's decisive second-round victory over the mighty Utah Jazz. But the most important changes to these teams all rippled from the same splash. In 1998, after winning their third straight NBA championship, the Chicago Bulls began to fall apart. Phil Jackson left as coach, Michael Jordan retired months later, and the rest of Jerry Krause's club self-destructed. This matchup contains all kinds of shrapnel from that explosion. The biggest piece is Jackson, who took just a year off post-Bulls before grabbing the Lakers job. This season was his first coaching LA, and he fashioned the Lakers into an elite defense while teaching Kobe and Shaq the triangle offense. It helped to add another Chicago champion to the mix, tall point guard Ron Harper. But Phil's old friends aren't all on his side. One of the most essential new Blazers is former Bulls star Scottie Pippen. The Bulls punted Scottie to Houston days after MJ retired. Then, before this season, Portland traded like half their roster to Houston to bring in the 34-year-old star. Ex-Bulls on both sides played a part in the early drama of this series. After Shaq commanded a Lakers blowout in Game 1, the Blazers' three-headed monster engineered a stunning blowout of their own on the road in Game 2. LA's campaign to snatch back home court advantage came down to the closing moments of Game 3. With a minute and change left, it was Pippen who overpowered Kobe to tie things up for the home team. Seconds later, it was Pippen who had a chance to build a lead, but threw the ball straight into the hands of Glenn Rice. And when the Lakers needed what would end up being the winning bucket, there was Harper in the corner. 2-1 Lakers. In Game 4, Harper and Rice, the birthday boy, both came up big. After those two road victories, the Lakers had just about wrapped up a trip to the finals. And here in the moment, Pippen's guarding the ball and Harper's available for a kickout. Phil's on the sideline, sporting some hardware. This series and this moment are brought to you in large part by the swift demolition of the Chicago Bulls dynasty. But wait, I just mentioned the Lakers were once up 3-1 in this series. How did they end up clinging to a small lead in the final seconds of a Game 7? Well, the Blazers came back. With the Lakers hungry to end the thing at home in Game 5, Pippen broke the emergency inspiration glass. He showed his teammates a championship ring. And Pippen himself may have had some extra motivation. Coach Jackson entered Game 5 still pissed about a hard foul Pippen had put on John Salley and told his old Bulls star to his face that he should have been suspended. Pippen responded with an excellent game. Despite playing with two gnarly fingers dislocated in this collision with Robert Horry, Pippen provided Portland's most reliable scoring with 22 points on just 12 shots. And he was a terror on defense, recording 6 steals and 4 blocks. That was the standout performance in a team-wide defensive triumph. The Blazers swarmed Shaq to force 5 turnovers and make him sweat for his points. Playing with a sprained foot, Kobe offered no help as a bailout. The Blazers never trailed as they took another surprising road win, the first time the Lakers had ever lost consecutive games at the brand new Staples Center. Next up was Game 6, in which the Blazers would have to accomplish something they oddly hadn't done yet this series, beating the Lakers in Portland. They did that by bothering Shaq even more. The big guy missed 6 straight shots in the third quarter of Game 6 and shot 3 of 10 from the free throw line. Kobe played well despite the foot injury, but Steve Smith kept pace with him, and young Bonzi Wells had a career night off the bench, scoring 14 fourth-quarter points. Remarkably, the Blazers tied the series at 3-all, and they carried that momentum into tonight. This game had a close first half, and in the second half, the visiting team took over. Portland trailed by 1 midway through the third, but Steve Smith kicked off a personal 7-0 run with a gorgeous turnaround jumper over Harper. Sheed got a couple inside buckets off feeds from Smith and from Pippen. That gave Portland a double-digit edge.
And just like that, it's back to a 10-point Portland lead.
Smith buried a 3 to make that 13. Arvydas Sabonis found Sheed to make it 15. Pippen's step-back 3 near the end of the quarter put the Blazers up 16 points. Staples Center went silent. And yet, fast forward to present, and the LA fans are on their feet, cheering for the Lakers to put this one away. So what happened? How did Portland blow this? First, some credit for a guy not on the floor, Brian Shaw. Shaw was actually a Blazer last season. He played 5 minutes for Portland, then became one of the many players dumped to acquire Pippen. The 34-year-old Shaw signed on with LA this season while Kobe was recovering from a broken hand, and he held on to a bench guard role even after Kobe healed. Shaw contributed some shooting in this series, but made his biggest headlines for leaving the bench during a Game 3 scuffle and getting suspended for Game 4. Shaq paid tribute to his punished teammate during the Lakers' win by squeezing into his jersey. Anyway, Shaw was pretty quiet tonight until what is now looking like a pivotal shot. This funky banked-in 3 cut Portland's lead to 13 at the end of the third quarter, and in retrospect, it feels like exactly the break LA needed to regain some momentum. And Shaw kept it up with another 3 early in the fourth. But the real meat of that rally, the real reason the score changed so dramatically, is straight up grade A brick meat. At the worst possible time, the Blazers went freezing cold from the field. Smith hit nothing but rim. Wells got his shit swatted by Kobe. Out of a timeout up 10, all the Blazers could muster was a contested Pippen shank. How about Sheed? Nope. Sheed again? Still nope. Long, sluggish Blazer possessions generated a rimmed-out Bonzi 3 and another late-in-the-clock miss from Pippen. Just stagnant, feckless offense producing absolutely nothing against an energetic Lakers defense keyed by Kobe's work on the perimeter. Portland went almost 9 full minutes without a field goal, over 7 minutes without a point. And with 4 minutes left in the game, it was our friend Shaw off of a snappy kick out from Shaq, hitting a 3 to cap a 15-0 run and tie the game at 75-all. Now the Lakers lead, and here I think Blazers fans would like me to point out something else. Portland's center right now is Brian Grant, a dude who's 4 inches and like 60 pounds smaller than his assignment. The Blazers' starting center, aging legend Arvydas Sabonis, is much bigger, but Sabonis is on the bench. He fouled out. We need to talk about the officiating. This series has involved the refs quite a bit. The Lakers' Game 1 victory got a big boost when official Ron Garretson gave Wallace a second technical and ejection for staring at him too much.
I asked him 3 times to stop staring at me to try to intimidate me. I'm done. He's gone.
That game also featured rampant hack-a-shack tactics by the Blazers, always a challenge for the officiating crew. O'Neal attempted more free throws than the whole Portland team. In Game 3, Pippen and Rick Fox started the shoving match that led to the Shaw suspension. Portland's ugly Game 4 loss included Pippen's unnecessarily hard foul on John Sally, the one Phil Jackson was so mad about. Coach Dunleavy, meanwhile, left Game 4 irritated about how Shaq was being officiated, pleading with officials to call more fouls on the Lakers center and ease off the ticky-tack calls the other way. That's probably related to the fact that one of history's worst free throw shooters shot 9 of 9 from the line in that game. Game 6 included Dunleavy getting into it directly with Rick Fox. It's just been a lot. Basketball is best when you don't notice the refs, but officiating has been a big storyline throughout this series, and it's not going to stop, especially if the Lakers win tonight. As we speak, LA has attempted 27 free throws tonight to Portland's 16. If the Lakers weren't shooting so badly from the line, this game might already be decided. Then again, if Shaq didn't bury 2 free throws with under 3 minutes to play and Kobe another pair with 1.5 minutes to play, the Lakers might still be losing. But anyway, Dunleavy's gripes about how Shaq gets officiated have continued in this one. Sabonis picked up 2 early, iffy fouls guarding the big guy, then Grant came in and picked up 2 quick ones of his own, kinda just standing there against the post-up on the second one.
Hard to see how that is a defensive foul. You're supposed to run away from the man?
And the announcers have been harping on the inconsistency.
Is that when Shaq starts backing in, they never call that? So the disparity from one side to the other, the consistency that every player wants is just not there.
That early foul trouble pressed little-used youngster Jermaine O'Neal into action, and he couldn't avoid fouling either. Sheed's gotten mad at the refs, Bonzi's gotten mad at the refs. Thankfully, Dick Bavetta and company haven't been handing out technicals. Fouls had the potential to hamper Shaq's first half too. He picked up his 3rd early-ish in the second quarter, but Coach Jackson left him in the game, and because Sabonis tends to hang outside, Shaq never really came close to picking up his 4th. And that crazy score turnaround in this final quarter, yes, the Blazers were cold, but the whistles were also hot during that stretch. Pippen picked up his 4th. Sabonis picked up his 4th, then his 5th, much to his dismay. Sheed couldn't believe he got called for this. And moments after the Blazers finally ended their scoring drought, they lost a very frustrated Sabonis to his 6th foul. Then Sheed picked up a 4th on this Kobe drive and got right back to complaining. That said, Wallace has less to complain about now. He baited Shaq into his 4th foul less than a minute ago, but bricked the free throws that could have tied the game, then watched Kobe march the other way and cook Pippen to build this 4-point lead. And here we are. 2 teams with familiar stars. 2 teams bolstered by parts of a bygone Bulls dynasty. A comeback from behind 3-1 in the series might fall short because of a comeback from behind 15 points in this quarter. A grumpy series filled with whistles has stayed that way tonight, but whistles or not, this game comes down to buckets, and Portland ran out of those at exactly the moment LA woke up. And now the Lakers look for one more. Kobe faces the aged veteran he beat just moments ago, while Shaq rolls to the rim without a real center to stop him. This is it. Welcome to a moment in history.
Bryant to Shaq!
Sorry, turn the TV back on for just a moment because there were 40 seconds left and I don't want to leave you hanging. The Lakers did win, but first there was a bit more drama. Sheed hit a 3, and the Lakers missed not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 free throws in the final 40 seconds. They hung on though, partly because this blatant hack on Steve Smith wasn't called a foul. Typical. Okay, see ya. Thanks a lot for watching Rewinder. This one was about one of Kobe and Shaq's first big moments together. If you want to see one about one of their first big moments apart, here's one about Christmas Day. And if you want to learn more about the Bulls dynasty breaking up, we've got a whole episode of Collapse about that.